Hello, everybody.
Welcome back to another episode of
A BJJ Marriage, where we talk about our lives as a married jiu-jitsu couple.
Oops.
Hello.
Oops, there's three of us today.
Oops. Why is that an oops?
I don't know. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm still waking up.
Yeah, it is morning.
Yeah.
Not for them. We always put this out really late out.
I'm actually tired because I got a whole extra hour of sleep yesterday.
That made you tired?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I overslept, you know.
This morning he was laying in bed for like over a half hour on his phone. I was like, "Are you gonna get up?"
Nice.
He's like, "No."
You wake up and plug directly into the matrix.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. My dog is still cuddling with me, so why would I get up?
I love this is the best day ever. Daylight savings, fall back 1 hour, extra hour of sleep.
Yes.
Nice.
Awesome stuff. But if you can't tell, we have an awesome guest today, the one and only Mr. Blackbelt Mike Caughey.
Hello.
Yes.
Mike is one of our biggest mentors at Fluid. We talk about him pretty frequently throughout the podcast. Him and my dad are both the two main instructors at Fluid, I would say. But Mike is more of a 6 a.m.er for some reason.
Train when you can.
Yeah. If you've seen any of my competition videos, probably half of my game is all from Mike.
Mm-hmm. Which is kind of what we're going to get into today is what influences our jiu-jitsu and who influences our jiu-jitsu. And we couldn't think of a better person other than Mike to be on here because he's had a big, impactful footprint, I should say. Yep. It's not a carbon footprint. I would say it's an impactful footprint on our jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, stamp.
I'm happy to be here.
It's fun.
Yes.
But
so we've had you on before, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about, I think last time you were on, we talked about like your journey in jiu-jitsu and what kept you going.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
I think that was like episode 3.
Yeah. It was a long time ago.
It was a very long time ago.
In terms of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true.
So we're on episode 39, and that was episode 3. That was, I don't even know, that was like
36
February?
weeks ago.
I couldn't tell you.
Can't do that math that quick.
My memory isn't that good.
Yeah, I think end of January, early February.
Yep.
That's crazy. We've been doing this that long.
It's almost been a year.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it.
We actually just got a couple new subscribers yesterday. So for those of you listening, shout out. Thanks. But yeah, someone posted on BJJ Fanatics what's a good jiu-jitsu podcast that you listen to. And I put ours. I also put a shout out to our friends of Rolling Matrimony, which is some neutral ground friends who are a married couple also that does the same thing.
Awesome.
I think they do a little less though. I think they do like 2 a month. But
well, I'm going to look them up now.
Yeah, so. They're very cool. So a Rolling Matrimony, giving them a shout out. But I posted them and then we got a couple people to like our page and hopefully you're listening and hopefully you enjoy. So.
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, so I remember when I was starting my jiu-jitsu, first of all, if you don't know, her father is the owner of the gym, and he just brought me in and like threw me to the wolves to begin with. And
I was one of the wolves.
He was one of the wolves, yes. And then Brent was sitting there, and I was rolling, and then he went to Mike. I think you were purple at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, Mike, this guy's going to be good for you. You should teach him stuff. Something along those lines. And then I was like, huh? And Mike was like, it's a project. Okay.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, it's been a lot of fun. So
I mean, he's basically a mini you in some ways, right?
In some ways. Nick has a much more expanded game.
He's a hybrid of everything that he's learned, though. But I would say a big part of his game is stuff that you have taught him.
Absolutely.
Like when you see competitions, like that sacrifice throw that we just looked
at. I mean, I teared up. It was so beautiful. That was such a fantastic throw. I've always said, that's the one for competition. That's the best throw.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfectly.
That guy went head over. Sorry to Nick's opponent. That's awesome.
Yep.
It is a beautiful throw.
The ref and the scorekeeper, both after the match, were like, that was a great throw. I was like, oh, thanks. I don't remember it.
Very well executed. And that would be because of your judo experience that you have a lot of that in your nature, right?
I do, yep. Not active in that anymore, but tried to take what I learned and apply it to jiu-jitsu because it's a completely different stand-up game. Jiu-jitsu players aren't afraid to go to the ground because you don't lose once you hit the mat.
Right.
Yeah, so they'll give you more.
Yep.
Because judo people will be like, you ain't moving me.
Yeah, they will do everything they can to stop from being thrown.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's the game.
That's kind of how it is with wrestlers, too. They don't want to be on their backs because they're so used to,
That's
if
right.
they get on their backs, then they, lose the match or lose points?
If they get pinned, they lose.
Get pinned, they lose.
Okay, so yeah, they just don't want to be on their backs.
Yeah, if they get taken down, the other person gets points. Yeah. But yeah, if they get pinned with both of their shoulder blades on the back, on the mat, they're over. It's over.
Yep.
And that's why they're always such bull-rushing bulldogs when they're training because they don't want to be put on their back.
Usually don't have the stop button.
Right.
They just keep going and going.
Yeah, because you push them over and they scramble back to the top immediately.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of sitting there okay, this is my guard. Because this is different.
Success as an instructor is taking somebody with a wrestling background and teaching them how to play guard.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
For sure. There's a lot of good wrestling in last night's UFC. That was cool.
Yeah, good wrestling defense.
It was Usman and Covington last night, and they're both pretty phenomenal wrestlers. And the tie-ups that they had quite a few times, and the scrolls on front headlocks, and
Usman still has 100% takedown defense.
Yeah,
he's still never been taken down in 20 fights. Mm-hmm. That's insane. But he got taken down 50th. To a knee.
That's not all the way to the ground.
No,
it didn't count. But it was cool. Wrestling is definitely, I would say, a big influence for a lot of people. Not us, unfortunately. I don't know. Did you do any wrestling?
No.
So you just went straight into judo?
No, I went. My grappling experience evolved from my striking stuff. I started learning that you needed to have takedowns and takedown defense, and then I gravitated towards judo. And then in judo, I met people doing jiu-jitsu, and the rest is history there. But I did not ever formally wrestle. I've known so many wrestlers, though. I would say 30% of the people that I train with in jiu-jitsu have a wrestling background. Easily. And they won't even tell you. You won't know. And then you wrestle?
You can feel it. You can feel it. That's a wrestling thing.
Yeah, 2 years in high school. You didn't forget.
Yeah.
There's been times that I've rolled with Devin, who is a wrestler of 12 years or something. He's actually teaching a wrestling class today. But there's times that I would roll with him and he would go a little lighter with me just because I'm a girl. And I'd be like, no, give me your wrestling experience. Let's go. I want to do it.
Especially if they're the same weight.
Yeah. He's only 140, I think. 135. I think he competed at 135.
I don't know. We were the same weight.
Okay. Do you know him and Kamaru Usman are the same weight?
Really?
Yep. Isn't that wild?
You want to start getting ready?
Let's do it.
We were looking at them on the screen yesterday, and we're just like, yeah, it would make sense if you would fight Kobe, because you guys look like you have the same body type, but Usman looks like his skin is being stretched over his muscles.
Wow.
It looks painful.
You gotta wonder what he walks around at.
Right. I know. 200?
Probably.
What a cut.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
That is a dramatic cut.
It's insane. He has no legs, though. So that probably helps.
No
got
meat
those
on
little
his calves.
skinny calves.
Yeah. But anyway, so what age did you start judo?
Judo, somewhere in my 30s. I can't remember. Must have been my early 30s. I'd like to say 32.
Okay. And that's about the median age that I feel like people are starting martial arts nowadays, right? Yeah. If you didn't start as a child and you start as an adult, I feel like the median age is around 30.
Yeah. Well, I started martial arts when I was 12 years old, but but I think I didn't get to judo until I was in my young 30s, and then jiu-jitsu at 38.
See, for anybody who's listening, it's never too late to start.
No?
That's right. I'm 105 years old. You can do it.
We have a 74-year-old at our gym right now who has been training for about 3 months now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nancy's just a sweet person, and I just think she's awesome for getting on the mats. She's just fantastic.
Yeah.
She's super fun.
She kept telling me yesterday, she's like, I'm starting to write down everything that I need to work on, which is everything. And I'm like, that's good.
I've been through that phase.
Yep. But I'm glad
That's
she's
good.
realizing what she needs to work on. Like, she's not just saying, like, everything is terrible. She's like, okay, I'm starting to pinpoint that. I need to use my legs more. I love
That's
it.
funny.
That's awesome.
But you're never too old to start.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so you teach at 6 a.m.
6
And
a.m.
then you sometimes come on Saturdays for open mats.
Like yesterday.
Yes. But that wasn't
Surprise.
legit. That was more of a, you need to go put your gi on right
conned
now.
into rolling yesterday.
How do you accidentally bring your gi?
Yeah.
It was a tough sell for you.
Well, I mean, it's not like you have to twist my arm to get me to roll. And then I also I'm at the gym every Sunday. Also, I'm at the gym all the times when nobody else wants to train. So the people that do show up really want to train.
Yeah,
That's
for
true.
sure. Like Sundays, I feel like Sunday is just such an off day for so many people.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people just want to take the day to.
That's a heavy
not
sports
work out.
day.
Yeah, with football games and everything now.
Sunday is available to some people because of their careers.
Right.
And then what we do is we flow roll for an hour, which is really nice because it's actually active recovery day.
Mm-hmm.
And you won't get hurt doing flow rolling, and you can control the intensity level.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, just because I got a lot of white belts showing up to flow rolling,
That's good.
it is good. So the last 15
It makes
minutes,
it more challenging.
it does. The last 15 minutes I do just a Q&A for them because they always ask me questions anyway. So
Yeah. Give them an opportunity.
yeah,
That's
just
cool.
make it real, make it official.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference though when people go to flow rolling, especially when they're just starting out, and then you roll with them in live sparring, and you're like, oh, you've gotten better.
Yep.
Like Garrick. Garrick is definitely one of those
Absolutely.
people for me.
Yep.
And I roll with him, and I'm like, you haven't been doing this long to be this good.
Well, I mean, it helps them to learn to link between the moves instead of just, oh, I know this sweep and I know this escape and I know that submission. It's all the things that happen between them, and that's why I like
That's
flow
the hard
rolling.
part.
Yep.
That's really the hard part.
That's why a lot of white belts don't like flowing.
Yeah.
I've actually had multiple girls tell me who start out, they're like, I don't like flowing, I'd rather just roll. And I'm like, I was the same way for a very long time. I didn't want to do it because the problem with flow rolling is that there's so much technique that you have to use in order to get to a certain position. And when you're starting out, you don't know that technique. You just know strength, like your brute strength to try to get somewhere. But if you can't use that and you got all of your tools taken away from you in flow rolling, you're kind of just sitting there like a fishing out of water. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I like to imagine them. They're typically like stiff logs, or they're like wet blankets, which you cannot roll with either of them.
Right. Yeah. Well, I really encourage people to try flow rolling. It will improve your game for sure, and then you'll start to see where the moves you've learned in class actually come into play instead of hoping somebody falls into it for you.
Yes. I agree. You know what else I find funny, though, since we kind of talked about you can tell that they've gotten better from flowing, is I can tell people who are in your 6 a.m. class. Like, I'm trying to remember who it was, but I remember I was rolling with a guy who goes in normally just 6 a.m.s, and I was just kind of just moving
Justin.
around. No, it was someone newer. But
Trevor?
I don't remember who it was. It was not Trevor. But I was just, like, kind of moving all around him, and he was doing really good defenses to a lot of the things, and I was just like, I can tell you trained with Mike. Like, just some of the moves that he did, and I can't remember who it was right now, but I just remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, this is totally a Mike Caughey thing. Karen. And Karen, too, when Karen does some stuff, I'm
Weapon
like...
X.
That's her name.
I'm like, what do you do in 6 a.m.? Oh my goodness.
Well,
I love rolling with Karen.
Those classes, you know, one of the things that I decided a long time ago is I was only going to teach things that I know work. And meaning, I know they work for me. And so I essentially teach people my game, and then I encourage them to explore the movements and develop their own game. And I really also encourage people to train with as many instructors as possible, because I am not the end-all, be-all of jiu-jitsu, and I would rather that you go train with this person, this person, this person, or this person, and then find the things that you like that work for you, and then develop them.
Yeah.
Diversify your jiu-jitsu.
Diversify.
Which is what we talked about last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super important, and I know I have, and if I hadn't I don't even know that I'd be sitting here right now. So it's important. But
so out of all of your diversification that you've had throughout your years of training, who would you say influenced you the most?
Oh, that's actually a very difficult question. So I can't say. I would say that, number one, I learned the most jiu-jitsu from John Friedland of Neutral Ground.
Mm-hmm.
So he is my number one influence. Love you, brother. And I can say that's true. He gave me a really good core for jiu-jitsu. I've learned from your dad. I've been to multiple seminars. I've done private lessons. I've trained with just friends. I would say, like, right now I'm kind of in a phase where I'm exploring De La Riva guard again. Well, I went to a couple of seminars with Marcelo Montero, who learned from Ricardo De La Riva. And the stuff I learned from those seminars, I'm still chewing on that 8-9 years later.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like that was a huge influence on me, but he wasn't the number one. But for that position, he was the number one influence.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like different positions have different influences, which makes total sense.
For sure. I mean, we just trained with Jeff Glover, which was really awesome. I love deep half guard too. We learned more about deep half guard, so I would say that's a really strong influence on me. I'll be digesting that material for the next 16 years.
Yeah.
Because it was just overwhelmingly awesome.
It was very good.
He packed a lot of stuff in there.
He did.
But it was put together so well that you could comprehend everything. Like it didn't feel like too much. It just felt like, oh my God, I want to use all of this.
Well, also in the private lesson too.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys did a private.
He did. He showed some really, really cool stuff. So, for the core of my jiu-jitsu, it's going to be John Friedland is the most influential. And then if you pick a position or a place, okay, here's one just from getting out from the bottom. Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've rolled with that guy almost the entire time I've done jiu-jitsu, and he has kicked my butt over and over again. And if it wasn't for him, I would not have learned how to escape side control, with purpose, because you don't want to be underneath that guy. He's going to kill you there.
Brett, yes. I think, for those of you who don't know, is like probably 250 pounds, maybe.
Yeah, around there.
He's like 400 pounds.
He's got that mountain man strength.
He's a 4-stripe brown belt. He's about to get his black belt in Brazil very soon, so that's super cool.
But his game is not all his size. He has really good technique, and he has really good control.
Yeah.
And it's just being trapped underneath him it's awful. Yeah. So thank you, because you've helped me learn how to escape that.
If he doesn't want you to move, you're not moving. Yeah.
I've never been trapped under Brett. He's very nice to me.
Good for you.
Yep, thanks.
Brett, I have a challenge for you. Hold her down.
He's never done that to me. He always just lets me climb on him like a mountain.
I think I might
have
call
so
him
much
later.
fun with it.
I don't know if he watches. I'm going to call him back. He's going to crush you.
Oh, great.
He's bailed me out a few times, so.
I'm excited.
What a guy. Yeah, Brett's awesome, too.
Well, isn't that when you get a blue belt on your waist that you're just a bigger target for a lot of people, right?
Absolutely.
So that's going to try to kill me when I'm a blue belt.
Getting
How you feeling about that?
No.
Huh?
No, don't be afraid. You should be
excited. I'm not afraid. I am very excited, actually. I am a little concerned about that, what I just said, where you have a little bit more of a target on your back. And I also, the only thing that I'm nervous about is that I said I was going to do 2 competitions at every belt, which means that now that I'm starting a new belt soon, I have to do a competition soon, and I am nervous. That's all.
Well, I think you should compete, and probably early on in your blue belt, and then later on.
That's my
plan. See the changes, and your experience. It'll be different. I mean, competing as a beginning blue belt, and then now later on with 4 stripes, probably a different animal, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's what I did with white belt too. I competed as a 1 stripe and I competed as a 3 stripe, and I was kind of planning on keeping that up, like doing a 1 stripe blue and then like a 3 or 4 stripe blue, and just seeing the progress.
I think that's a great idea, and I think that competition is really important for that development. Not 100% necessary, but I think that you'll be able to note the changes, and it will help you develop your game.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a fantastic test, also.
Yeah.
Big influence to your jiu-jitsu, because it sure was for me. I remember my first competition, I was stuck in front headlock for 2.5 minutes, and I went to the gym and I was like, Adam, we need to work on this.
And we're still working on it.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you can ever stop working on a particular position. I've never heard anybody tell me that they have mastered this position, except your dad.
Yeah. I was going to say, I know someone that might.
I don't know. I would say a black belt normally has like a specialty that they would consider themselves an expert in.
Yeah, expert in, but there's always someone that can defeat it. There always is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can never say with 100% confidence, I'm invincible in this spot.
Except for the 100% sweep.
Except for the 100% sweep.
What's that?
It's kind of mean.
I think I saw you do it to somebody yesterday. I was watching. I was like,
and then he was like, "What the heck was that?" And I was like, "It's called 100% sweep. It works every time."
It's basically a neck crank sweep. Is what it is.
Oh, that's not very
I'll show
nice.
you.
Okay, great.
We
Can't wait.
might have done it in the morning class.
When you're supposed to go 20%. Let me neck crank you.
Well, you can do it gently.
Yes, you can.
All right, so I do have something else to say about my influence on jiu-jitsu. What really influences and motivates me is not like a specific person. And I was talking to you guys before we started the podcast about how I saw somebody going into a bar. Where this is early in the morning for me. Not that early.
But it's like 9 something in the morning.
9:45. I'm driving past the bar, and here's a guy gets out of his car, walks in the bar. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! It's 8:45.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, are you?
Why is it even open?
Right. Why is the bar open? And what are you doing to yourself?
Right.
And so that's actually been huge motivating and influential factors. I work in healthcare, and I'm getting older, and I don't want to be a patient.
Mm-hmm.
And I see people my age and younger that are in horrible shape because they've tortured their poor bodies for their whole lives, and that is incredibly, incredibly motivating for me to train. And the days I don't want to train, I think about that and I go train. That, and then it's you guys, it's the students. I feel responsible to teach you guys, and I enjoy watching you learn. And when I show you something and you do it and it works, that's like a double win.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so good, and I really like to see you guys grow and learn. And that to me, more important than any one person out there, is I think about that, and it motivates me. I'll wake up at 2 a.m. and be like, I'm teaching this tomorrow. I'll be thinking about it. Yeah. It really is, and that's truly, truly what influences me is you guys, and then my motivation to not be a patient. Maybe that's a little selfish on that one.
No, it's good. I mean, that's what they say. If you stop moving, that's when you die, right?
Absolutely.
If you become a couch potato, or if you, I think it's what Tao Te Ching says. Shoot, there's a quote about being a stiff branch versus a growing vine.
Sorry, our dogs are
Some
fighting
random
upstairs
bullshit.
and he's
Dogs
hearing
haven't
it.
stopped moving.
So they're not going to die. How fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I can't recall the quote. Maybe I'll look
Find
it
it
up
later.
later.
I know what you're talking about. I just can't remember the wording.
Right.
No, I think that's extremely motivating, especially to a lot of people who could be listening right now and thinking this exact same thing. Because I know that's one of the things that I do think about, because I came from a household where there was a lot of negative energy and some really bad habits that were happening, and I knew that I always wanted to not be a part of that lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And jiu-jitsu has definitely helped me create a healthy lifestyle that I've always wanted, and that I've always wanted to help others achieve, and so that I don't fall down that deep dark rabbit hole of things that run in my family.
I think they run in a lot of families.
Yeah.
Especially in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Especially in Wisconsin.
Unfortunately, it's more prevalent than people understand. But
like the first time I met you, Brittany, was in the basement of the church. Your dad had just started things up. I think you came to the class. I can remember maybe 2 or 3 times you were there, and you were just like kind of brooding, disinterested. You're like, why am I here? And
I don't think you were rolling at all, were you?
No, I didn't roll. I never
you were like
rolled in the
hanging out
basement.
with Anea or Jada.
Yeah. Just kind of hang out in the back. And just the transformation from then to now, it's just amazing. And again, that really motivates me because you're out there training hard. My job is to help you get better. And we took you from hiding behind the chairs and stuff in the back of the church. And you're getting mad at me.
No.
But you kind of look like you're a little bit brooding. And you're like, why am I here? To yesterday, I'm on the mat talking to somebody and she's trying to choke me.
She sneaks up and she like grabs a collar and she jumps on his back.
I love that, by the way. I love when people attack me out of the blue, especially when I have no idea it's happening.
Yeah. So my dad told me too the other day. He was like, I think it's so fun to roll with you because you attack me. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, most white belts don't attack me. Normally I have to like try to get them to move, but you just try to kill me. And I'm like, yeah, you're my dad. I want to.
Yeah, that's how that works.
But he said that as a black belt, it's not even just me that he's talking about, but just like as a black belt, so I'm sure you can relate. He just loves it when people who don't have as much skill as him try to attack him, and he has to figure out like what they're gonna do and how to defend it.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's a really cool perspective on it.
Yeah.
Instead of just like dominating.
Right.
It's the students that motivate you. I mean, it sucks when you're about to roll somebody and you're like, oh no. People will literally say that. I'm like, have I ever hurt you?
Right.
No.
I mean, I say that to you. Every time you're like, you want to roll? I'm like, oh God.
And I'm super
I'm
nice.
kidding.
Oh,
and I roll with you every single time. Every time.
Next time, I'm going to crush you.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
No, I won't do it. It's not. I don't think that's good learning.
So when I'm blue, you're going to do it. I know it.
It's the night you turn blue.
Oh my God.
In the middle of Shark Tank.
Oh, great.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, you're going to be one of the first too in the front of the line.
Yep.
It's gonna be
That's
a good
in
time.
2 weeks.
And I'll be there to catch you when you pass out, when you're being choked.
Thanks.
When you get your belt.
Oh God. I'm going to pass out.
Both of you.
It's funny because I keep talking to Nick about the belt ceremony. He's like, oh yeah, this is your first time.
Yeah, actually, I think that's really... You're probably nervous about it right now.
I am a little bit. I don't think I've ever rolled for 45 minutes without a break. Like, I've done an hour straight, but it's like that transition time from one partner to the next.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, this is going to be completely new for me. So.
I had a 30-minute match once.
Yeah. That was a submission only.
Oh, God,
We were both white belts.
No, you were blue.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, it was not. I'll tell you what.
I do not like submission only.
Yeah, they stopped that.
I think it's dangerous.
Bracket's gone way too long. But
All right, you guys talk. Let's hear it. What?
Well, I just have an abundance of energy that I've always had my whole life.
Really?
Nick has ADHD. Did you know that?
I can tell.
I just found out 7 years later.
Yeah, but I mean, it's focused.
It's focused. But, what was it saying?
Squirrel.
Yes, squirrel.
That's our new saying, is every time we're talking, and if he just goes off on a tangent, like the other day, he was like, look at my gi, and I was like, squirrel.
Yes. No,
That's what
I've
you're
had...
here for, to slap him back into line.
Right.
Yeah, that helps me out.
Continue with your thought.
But yeah, I've always had an abundance of energy. And finding, or actually getting into a martial art, and finding a place that's comfortable for me to train and spend all of my energy has been super fantastic for, I think, my whole life. It allows me to focus in other areas. But I remember, it's funny you say when you were fighting with your dad, you just attack him. I remember my dad and I used to watch like kung fu movies like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And in his apartment, we'd be in the bedroom, it'd be on the TV, and I'd literally be like jumping on his bed, like attacking him the whole time we're watching the movies.
You just picture that a little mini Nick
That's
Lee.
awesome.
I was probably like, 5 to 10, just like, we called it hi-ya. So I've been doing cartwheel passes for like 30 years. But yeah, so it's funny that you brought that up because it made me think of when I used to try to kill my dad all the time. He would just like throw me off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, being able to expend this energy in a focused way, and then I'm also learning while I'm doing it, which also just lights up my brain every time I'm doing it. It's just so fun. And every time I roll, I'm having such a great time. Except for yesterday. I challenged myself yesterday to do everything I'm not good at. stopped just like, okay, I'm going to put him in my butterfly guard, sweep him, get him out.
I didn't feel like you did that at all with me.
Well, yesterday, I was trying to use like all of my B game stuff.
I see.
And I was like,
do that more.
Exactly.
When we roll.
I was like, I gotta develop this stuff. But that's one thing that can be demotivating is when you're good at stuff, but then you try stuff you're not good at, and then you're not as good anymore.
Yep.
But it's also like expanding your journey, so you can look at it both ways. And in the moment, I felt like discouraged, but looking back at it, I'm super happy that it happened.
Yeah.
It'll just make you better.
Yeah, and I just rambled through like 5 topics.
That's okay. Sometimes just that free association is better.
I mean, there's a lot of influential pieces to, I feel like, everyone's jiu-jitsu journey. And so it's hard to, like, pinpoint one thing, kind of like you said, where it's a really difficult question to pick one person or one move or one seminar or one thing. Or you can't really pinpoint it to one thing because everything that you've learned and acquired over your entire journey is what's made you into the jiu-jitsu player that you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of crazy when you think about it in the broad spectrum like that. And then you really narrow it down like, oh, yeah. Like, I remember one of the biggest things that has influenced me is, and it was just one saying, and it's from one of my best friends. His name is Dave. He's been on this podcast. We talk about him all the time. But he had said to me when he was a blue belt, he was just like, I just want to roll with a purpose. And I was so new at the time that I was just like, what does that mean? I'm like, don't you always just roll? And he's like, but I need to have, like, a purpose for rolling. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
At that point, she was like, I just try not to die.
Yeah. And so for the last, like, 6 months, I would say almost every day, I'm like, what's my purpose today? What am I going to try to do?
That's awesome because that represents your transition from white belt to blue belt. Because when you were one stripe white belt, you couldn't have a purpose other than to survive.
Yes, that is the purpose.
So now you have some things, and now it's to work on this, to work on that. That's really cool. That's really cool. You know, and so Nick's saying, oh, he's working on his B game while rolling. You're saying you're trying to roll with a purpose when you roll, okay? And I'm saying I'm working on Deli Hiva guard just because I have to go back and review it and have fun with it. So we all have that same thing going on right now.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. And so your motivation came from Dave. Mine came from, well, I have listed all my garbage. And so where did yours come from?
When Brent came back from the Rafael Lovato seminar. And Brent said that, because Brent asked Lovato, what do you do against, like, white belts? Because you're just, like, this master black belt that could destroy anyone, right? And Lovato said, I don't know if Brent asked the question, but somebody asked the question.
Right.
And then Lovato said, well, with people that I can obviously cream, that's where I use all my shitty techniques and make them better, basically.
See, that's really cool. So your dad goes to a seminar, learns something, comes back, shares it, and now he's using it to motivate himself. That is really cool.
What a great cycle.
Right.
It is.
And it just keeps going.
Yep.
Yeah. And then somebody's listening to this podcast and they're going to say, oh, maybe I should see what my B game's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're going to tell their friend.
I'm going to roll with Nick because he's using his B game.
Joke's on you. I only use it on people that are worse than me.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Oh, my.
There were some fighting words.
Yeah.
He's just mad because I armbarred him yesterday.
I was watching when that happened. Good
Thanks.
for you.
See? And it was legit, right?
It was legit.
Yep.
It was a good armbar,
It
yes.
looked painful to me.
And then my dad said when he gives me my blue belt, he's going to give me another purple stripe. You know the story of this, right?
No.
So it was during COVID. We were rolling down here in the basement.
Yeah, right here.
Yep. And I triangled him, like a legit triangle. And it was the only time that I had ever submitted him. And I texted my dad, because I'm a white belt, he's a blue belt. And I was like, hey, I tapped out my husband. I deserve my purple belt now. And so he gave me a purple stripe. And then yesterday I was like, I armbarred my husband yesterday. That's the second time I've submitted him. And then he's just like, you want another purple stripe? I'll give it to you when I give you your blue belt.
Oh, man.
I think that's cool. You won't see that stripe on that blue belt, though. It's going to have to be like...
Well, then it has to be a brown belt, because he'll
something.
be a purple belt, so then I need to be one step above him.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
Shit. This game is gonna get less fun as far as we go.
I think it's gonna get more fun because you're gonna say one of these days, well, I'm gonna have to play my A game when I'm rolling with Brittany.
Yeah.
And that right there, see, there's more influence and motivation.
What an interesting concept.
Did you submit my B game or my?
Oh.
Just kidding. It was a great armbar. No joke.
That's cool. That's cool. And I know you've been working on arm bars too, so good for you.
I've been telling him that I think I've said it on here too, that everyone who has less experience than me, I've been pretty much getting them in arm bars, and if they're the same or higher, then I can at least get in the position. I may not be able to finish it, but I can at least get there.
That's awesome.
So it's been very fun.
Brittany working on her A game, remember that.
Yeah. And I would say it is hard to armbar me.
It is hard to armbar you.
Yeah.
No joke. I'm spinning.
Yeah.
You're easier to choke than to armbar, and you're not easy to choke.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that way
Steve
sometimes.
baited me in an armbar yesterday. I was so mad. I was in top turtle. Whoa. Whoa. Let's keep it PG-13 here, okay? But yeah, I was
Squirrel.
attacking his turtle, and he had put his hand out, and obviously I'm going for my armbar, and I went to go reach, and he was literally tapping on the mat, and I should have known that he was baiting me, but I was like, oh, arm! Squirrel! I reached for it, and then he took my arm, he stapled it, and then he armbarred me, and I was like,
that is awesome.
That's fantastic. Way to go. Real nice.
I love when people tap the man. I'm like, no.
Yeah. I was excited.
You should have wrist locked him.
I was so mad. He tried to wrist lock me too.
Really?
And I looked at him, I was like, Steve, did you just try to wrist lock me? He's like, nope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He's one of my favorite roles too.
He's super fun, yeah.
Steve and Karen. They're another married jiu-jitsu couple.
We had him on the podcast.
They did. They were on here.
Yep.
But I'm trying to tell any males who are listening right now who are trying to get their wives to start training, because I hear that that's a common thread.
Karen, Weapon X, one of my secret morning class ninjas.
She's amazing.
She has learned a lot in the last year.
It's crazy.
You know, actually, this is, again, back to the motivation and influence. Last Thursday morning, we did guard pass drill for like half an hour straight.
Good.
Yep.
And it was one of my ladies, Lee Song, she was in for 6 rounds.
With her little legs.
Really impressed, yeah. Lee Song is a very short lady. She's shorter than me, and I'm short. And so we're constantly having to adjust things in class technique-wise, so that it works for her, because, and maybe I'm a good instructor for that, because I'm 5'3". I used to be 5'4", but something happened.
You lost a disc.
And I lost something. The weight of the world on my shoulders. I don't know. But... so I'll tell her, I'll say, like, this move is going to be difficult for you because of your stature, but this one's going to work really great, or if we try it this way, and I'll say, and I had to adjust for myself, because I have short legs, and just watching her sweep people and pass guard, I was like, real nice.
Lee Song is awesome.
Yep.
Her size is super fun. Have you met my friend Kayla yet? So... my friend Kayla is Lee Song's height.
Was she there yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, that young lady.
She's older than me. She's 27.
Yeah, she's like the
she's
size
like
of a twig.
112 pounds.
I'm at that age where I can't tell how old they are anymore.
Yeah. No, everyone thinks that she's much younger, but she is a personal trainer, so she's super fit, and she's just
strong.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So she just started training jiu-jitsu this year. She's been training for about 8 or 9 months at this point, but she only has the 1 day a week membership because she's a personal trainer at Princeton Club, so she is constantly having clients and can't make class times and everything, but she's gotten really good, and she is so fun to roll with because of her size. Where I've told her multiple times every time we're drilling on things, I'm just like, you're going to love doing this. Like, we were doing back attacks from front headlock on Friday, and I was like, this is going to be your move. Like, you can be in front headlock, and then you can just zip around in the sky and then just take their back. And she's like, this is super fun. But if you ever get a chance to roll with her, you should, because she's super fun. She's like Lee Song, but...
I want to roll with her. Come on, let's go. Yeah. Well, that's funny. I'm just, thinking about this as we're talking about it. It's people with really dramatic size differences that make for the most interesting roles and challenges in jiu-jitsu. We have Adam Conley at our gym, who probably is 2.5 times my size. I mean, he's super tall, long body, and he's a natural athlete. Very challenging to roll with. And we have people like Lee Song and Kayla, who are really tiny, also very challenging to roll with.
They slip out of everywhere.
They slip out of everything, and the long bodied people, you are entangled in everything. So it's really cool, and I love the challenge of trying to figure out how to work with a different body type. If you go against somebody your size, your build, your experience level, it will be a fun match. But when you start changing it up and you've got somebody that's completely different body type, that makes it really fun. Although I think that people are hesitant at times then to roll with someone.
Yeah.
Because they don't.
A lot of newer females are hesitant to roll with people.
Yeah.
Especially if they're a different size. Like, there's a lot of newer female white belts who come in and they look at Brett, or they look at Bontempo, or they look at Joe, and they're like, I'm not doing it. And I'm like, they're my favorite.
Yep.
I love climbing on them.
Yep. And,
they don't squish you like they squish me.
No, they don't. I have an advantage in that way.
I tell people, roll with your training partners, just like Master Sauer said, like they're, like a 4-year-old girl, everybody at first. And we have a lot of ladies in our gym, which I think is just amazing because you weren't there when I started.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Shout out to the women's only class starting this week.
Yes.
Only class. That's
women's
cool.
only on Tuesdays.
Do it, Ellie. Bring it.
Squirrel.
Well, chipmunk. But then one of my favorite things is when one of the ladies, which this happened to me recently, comes up and I say, how are things going? Are people being too mean? Are you, whatever? And no, I want them to roll harder with me. And I'm like, right on.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yep.
I love that because I think that women have some hesitation to get in, and grapple with big men. And when they say, no, I'm ready to turn up the volume, I think that's really shows a lot of growth.
I yell at people when they roll too late with me. Like, I straight up yelled at Devin, and I have yelled at quite a few males, actually, when they go too late. I'm like, why are you going so late? And they're like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, turn it up.
I promise you'll never have that problem with me.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
You yell at me too, but then I just knee you in the face on accident.
Yeah, we just roll weird together.
Well, I think that the relationship changes the chemistry of the role. So.
I think so. It's always like weird.
Because
we roll hard.
I watch you roll with Corey in the mornings.
Yeah.
I can tell you guys have been friends for a long time, and there's like a little bit of rivalry there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But not enough that it's like hostile.
Right.
It's funny.
Yeah. I feel a difference when I'm rolling with him. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to like smash him.
You don't want to smash him, but you're not going to let him smash you.
Right. Right. Yes.
I don't know if we stayed on topic. Sorry. I'm terrible at it. Squirrel, I'm just terrible at it. But,
Yeah, that's not my forte.
But these are all influences. These are all things that, again, make us into the people that we are and how we roll on the mats and how we perceive
and what keeps us going.
Yeah. I mean, look at us. We've been smiling the whole time. Like, it just makes us happy.
Yes.
Because I would say there's so many things that have influenced my jiu-jitsu, especially being a female in a male-dominated sport. Like, you have to find the things that motivate you and want to keep you going so you don't want to quit. Because I feel like a lot of females end up not making it because they do get worried that they're going to get hurt or burnt out, or they just don't want to be the only woman in the gym. But I would say that a huge influence for me has been female jiu-jitsu practitioners. And anytime I see one, I typically watch how they roll, and I try to roll with as many of them as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Like, we went to Primal last week, and I rolled with, I think, every girl except for, like, one. Which was super fun. And then when I met Bernadette at the camp that we were at in August, I made sure to talk to her for a long time. She wasn't rolling.
She said next time we're going to roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's so sweet. I love her. And then, what else was I going to say? Ellie's she is my favorite roll. Now I'm going to try to sugarcoat that she
not
is.
Roll with her.
Yes.
She will force you to roll.
Yes. But
she makes me roll when I don't want to roll, and she makes me roll harder than I want to roll.
Yes.
Love you, Ellie. Really.
It's a great It's a great thing.
Yeah, but just like girls in general. And I actually just saw another thread on BJJ Fanatics this week, and it said, what is your honest opinion, males, what is your honest opinion about rolling with females?
I saw that post. I'm like, no, please no.
No, it was good.
Really?
It was
Was it?
really
I didn't read
good
the comments.
feedback.
I thought it was going to be a shit show.
I thought it was too, but I wanted to see because I'm curious. And honestly, everyone said, I love rolling with females because they can't use strength as their backup. They have to use technique. Mm-hmm. And so always our rolls with women are more technical and more fun.
Yep.
Well, why would they use strength with males then?
I don't know. Because you can fall back on it? I don't know.
Squirrel. I think that, I really enjoy rolling with the ladies that we have at our gym. And it's because I like to feel their progress. I like to help them. I like to be able to, determine what will help them to get better. Mm-hmm. Because I want them to be really good. And I want them to roll with anybody, regardless of their sex or their size. And have a good time and be able to do technical jiu-jitsu. So, mm-hmm. You can't do that if you don't roll with everybody.
Right.
And I'll roll with everybody at the gym.
Yep.
Yes.
And I think that everyone should roll with everyone. And you're always going to have people that you don't like rolling with or who always beat you or you always crush. There's always going to be someone like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
They're fighting.
It's a squirrel up there. Anyway, there's always going to be those people.
Right.
But amazingly enough, sometimes more than one squirrel up there. Sometimes those people that you may not enjoy rolling with as much are the ones that make you learn the most.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
Have you met Santino? Does he come to 6 a.m.?
Yes, he does not come to morning class.
He's been talking about he wants to.
Yep.
Okay.
He goes to floor rolling on Sundays.
Yes, and he's a nooner.
And he is a nooner. He's a really, first of all, he just strikes me as a very good person.
Yes.
And I have floor rolled with him quite a bit. And he can floor roll as a white belt, which is awesome. He's got a lot of potential, and I would like to train with him more. You hear that, buddy? Just get up earlier.
Yes. I love Santino.
Yeah, we do sessions at 8 a.m. and he's like, I really need to just come to 6 a.m. and then we can do our session after it. I'm like, yes.
Mm-hmm. He's so fun. And I remember when he was first starting, he was just so happy. Like every time he'd be rolling, he'd just be smiling. And I'm like,
yeah. He's
like one of those people because he is a nooner and I'm a night person, so we don't see each other very much. But when we cross paths, we always make sure we roll together because he's one of my favorite rolls. And yesterday when I was rolling with him, we were talking about the belt ceremony. He asked me if I was excited, and I said, yeah, of course, you're going to be there. Like, I would love to see you there. You don't come to nights. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be there. He's like, and I'm bringing my girlfriend. And I'm like, really? And he was like, yeah, I need to bring her because I want her to see you get promoted as a girl. And I was like, I love it. Let's do it.
Cool. And maybe that will influence her.
Yep.
And we can get her to join the gym.
Yep. And then Adam Conley, I asked him, I was like, are you bringing your fiance? And he was like, she is coming to the belt ceremony. I was like, you need to tell her to wear workout clothes so she can be your last roll. She doesn't have to do the whole class, but she can be your last roll. And then he's like, yeah, that's how we're going to fish hook her and we're going to do it.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to influence more females in the gym. Always. Especially because right now we do have a lot of girls and it's awesome. Like we probably have 30 girls who are members of Fluid at this point. Mm-hmm. But not many of them stay to roll for very long. And I'm trying to change that, which is why we're starting the Tuesday class now. So we can actually get them a little bit more comfortable in live sparring. And I think it's going to be really good for everyone. But I cannot wait for more females to actually be on the mats rather than just in class.
Yeah. Well, I hope that ladies only class really picks up. And I was not kidding. I would get a wig and show up if I could get away with it.
I told Brittany that I'm probably going to start identifying as a woman at 7 p.m. on Tuesdays.
Wow. You are ugly. in that
Only on Tuesdays.
In that paradigm, you're sorry.
Right.
Squirrel.
So I guess I kind of want to know your guys' thoughts since I expressed about BJJ Fanatics. What is it like for you guys to roll with like Ellie or me or anyone else who likes to roll a little bit harder?
You guys move more, which is way more fun. Mm-hmm. Because you guys aren't like sedentary and like trying to smash.
Yeah.
You're just trying to play jiu-jitsu, which I love. And honestly, I roll that way with more people, but most people don't respond the way women do. So it's just a different game.
Well, I find you to be very crafty. You're
Yeah.
constantly attacking. There's always a submission threat. You're always working towards a submission. And so I find myself on the defense, and I don't mind being defensive. I think it's fun. Sometimes I think it's funny because then I'm actually baiting you into something else. But
He just doesn't tap the mat for you anymore.
I know I don't do that. But I really like it because a lot of guys are going to try to smash you and positionally dominate because they don't have the same attack game, where girls develop more of an attack game because they're not always going to be able to positionally dominate. Because even though I'm not hulking, you're a lot smaller than me. So you would have to be really in good position to keep me pinned in order to do that position, isolate, submit. Your submissions are while we're moving. And that is crafty. And that is much more dangerous to me and a lot more fun. And same with Ellie. Ellie is move. And then she catches me in a weird wrist lock and some dumb transition.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right. And then
Well, that just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. And then I try not to turn it up any higher because I also don't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And that's what's really fun and challenging about rolling with aggressive female players is
I love it.
you have to use more technique and more control, and by doing that you get actually better at jiu-jitsu than rolling with some hulking two-stripe white belt spaz that's just trying to smash you. I don't I have the answer to that. I don't have the answer to somebody who's technically attacking constantly and moving. I mean, I'm developing those answers. I shouldn't be, as a black belt, should I be saying this?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. You are a father like no other. You can say whatever.
Thank you. But I mean that helps me grow, and so I really like to roll with people that train like that. And so please keep trying to murder me, ladies.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Brittany and Joe, Ellie and I would probably roll for hours on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
But they're like, we gotta go home and have food. And Ellie and I are like, we've been rolling for like 2 minutes. And they're like, no, it's been an hour and a half. We're like, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, some people have boundless energy.
And then there's the nights that she's like, I need sushi. We're leaving now.
Oh, she's so fun.
Yeah. Anything to add to that, though? About
Um,
rolling with females?
rolling with females. Yeah, like you said, they're a lot more technically sound once they get past like 3 stripes as a white belt. Because they gotta get over that fear of getting smashed all the time. And then I think women also learn who they can experiment with and learn who they have to be on the defensive with. At least this is me projecting onto them how I would feel in their spot. But I play as much like movement as possible because I don't want to just smash. That's not fun for anybody.
Well, you and I have talked about that our games are very mobile. We like to move a lot. We don't like to just sit in one spot for very long.
You both have a similar style in that regard. You're not inverting like Nick is trying to do all the time.
Yet.
Which, my answer to that is to smash him.
The crazy part about that is that I do a lot. I just can't do it with people who are better than me yet. Because they stuff me.
You will.
But I do invert. Like, I remember when I was rolling with Mark Hollers, he told me, he was like, you are just all over the place. Everywhere I look, you're just like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And I think that's been a big influence for me, too.
That's good.
I like thinking about myself as a roly-poly-oly.
Oh, yeah. I like thinking of myself as an octopus, like I have 8 legs.
Yeah.
And it's super fun when I have white belts that are like, push one leg off, my other leg's there. They push this off, my other leg's there.
That is a very good description of you rolling, for sure. I like to think of myself as a fat badger.
A honey badger.
Oh, boy.
No, I'm not that energetic.
Coming to attack.
Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, because even Karen yesterday, when I was rolling with her, she's like, you're so spinny.
How does a badger personify itself in your game?
Well, I'm mean, but you don't know that I'm mean until I'm mean.
Yep. you gotta unlock that part of Mike.
Yep. I'll dig myself into a hole, I'll burrow down, and then I'll pop right back out of it.
That's very true.
I got claws, I got fangs.
He bites, watch out.
Yep, I like to fight, but I'm maybe more a bit of a playful badger now than I was 5 years ago. 'Cause when I back the time when I was like a purple belt, I wanted to come in and murder people still.
Makes sense.
So I try not to do that at all anymore. I just don't see a point to it now.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm. What's your jiu-jitsu animal? A roly-poly, like one of those little bugs with like 1,000 legs that just curl up into a ball?
I've never thought about it. I've never thought about what I like to do. Because someone compared themselves to like a sloth where like they move slow but they cling on and they hang on, and once they have a grip they can keep it there.
Mm-hmm.
That's not me. I
Is
don't
that
do
Brett?
that. Maybe. I don't know. But
Dave?
I don't
I think
move
Dave
slow.
was the sloth.
Maybe. Yes. I think that's what it is. But I don't move slow like that. I am very spinny. But I don't know what animal that would be.
Squirrel.
Yeah, when they're falling out of a tree. Just...
Well, it is true because when we roll, you are like, I'm working this here, and all of a sudden you're trying to go there, and then maybe you're trying to go to my back, or you're coming around this way. And I love it because I have to keep up with you and, and try to set a trap.
All over the place?
You.
Yeah.
Yep.
That could be a good one.
It makes it more.
You got a bushy tail?
Yeah.
What?
It just comes off your head.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the other day, I don't think you were there, but we were talking about limbs, and someone had said, like, oh yeah, you have 5 limbs because you have your 4 and then your head is your 5th limb. And then I was wearing a really big bone on my head, and Brett goes, well, Brittany's got 6 with that thing coming off her head.
Yep, squirrel. Yeah.
That's awesome. I don't think I've seen that.
That is awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. But I guess on Friday my dad told me that I was a bull. Because I said with my 5th limb, I like to take my head and I like to just jam into someone's chest and knock them down.
You do kind of charge.
Yeah, she does. She's like, Marr.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny because, see, you charge in, you make that contact, and then you change. Because I don't know if it's like
a squirrel.
I don't know if you hit a wall or whether you decide that that's the tactic is to do that, make a person feel that pressure and then change. But that's
A bull squirrel.
Or I had a dog like that once where he would run in circles and then he'd hit a wall and then shake it off and then he'd go spin in a circle again.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So you roll like a 4-year-old.
Sure. Yes.
With a helmet.
Put in the comments what your jiu-jitsu animal is.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
thing
to think about.
Talk about and think about who and what has influenced you.
Yeah.
Because it's really good process to go back and go over those thoughts and find where it comes from. Because I think it's good to know, and it's always good to tell somebody, hey, I've learned a lot from you, and you've been influential in my game, because that motivates them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, speaking of influences, I don't know where I picked up going inverted in jiu-jitsu, because no one at our gym teaches it. Like, no one. Yeah. But I remember, you can ask my mom, she says that I used to watch TV doing a headstand, just upside down on the couch. And now that I think about it, when I played Guitar Hero with my friends, I would hang upside down on the couch and play Guitar Hero upside down for some reason.
Wow. So
I've always had this thing where I just want to be upside down. I used to be upside down. I would put my legs on like the poles of swing sets and hang upside down. So I think this has given me an opportunity to be upside down more, which is great for my life, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, because nobody taught it.
No, nobody's taught it in our gym. Mm-hmm. That's not the fluid jiu-jitsu style to invert.
Right.
That's where he trains with Megan Wagner and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. But even then, like, I don't know. I just, like, played with it forever. And now it's working.
Yep. It definitely works, and it's fun to roll against.
You know who we didn't talk about? And I know we're running really low on time, but we didn't talk about Master Sauer.
We didn't talk about Master Sauer.
Oh, you taught me the best inversions.
Master Sauer has
no, he did not.
changed all of our games, I feel, with certain moves and critiques and
Absolutely.
Even just stories.
How many tens of thousands of people do you think Master Sauer's influenced?
A lot.
Hundreds of thousands?
I couldn't even imagine. He's the father of our jiu-jitsu, so ultimately everything traces back to him. And that's, when he says something, everybody listens.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody listens because there's something important in what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's so awesome.
It is.
Because I would say without Master Sauer, we probably wouldn't be where we're at right now, because my dad has a lot of his teachings from Master Sauer, and a lot of his school and his curriculum and his style is based off of the way that Master Sauer ran or runs his own gyms.
Mm-hmm. And, Friedland and Neutral Ground has been a Sauer associate for who knows how long.
Right. Yeah.
Forever.
It's crazy. And then he stays here, and it's just so fun. See him again next summer, hopefully.
That would be great.
But, yeah, he's just, I feel like, kind of, like you said, the grandfather of our jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. That's a fair assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, all right. Well, we could probably go on and on forever. But everything that's influenced us, listen to all 39 podcasts. They've all been influencing.
Let's just move this out of the way and start rolling.
I think that's a great idea. Got to get our zoomies out.
Right. Nick's zoomies. So you can play Guitar Hero upside down.
Abundance of energy. Yeah, I need to go do some handstands.
We bought swings.
I like swings.
Those are our new swings. We're going to hang up in May.
Where? Oh, I see.
Cool.
Squirrel.
How exciting.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for coming on, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having me.